Alright. So just this once, I'm going to see if I can do a tutorial on how to correctly start your car in the middle of the Finnish winter when it's negative 50 degrees Celsius, which by the way, it probably is exactly that. Now, if you drive this thing, you have the engine heater, of course, which you just plug it in and give it a minute and it'll heat up your engine, no problem. But for those of you who drive a 70s car for some reason, like my crazy ass, what you need to know is that the battery is very fucking finicky in this thing. So, first you choke it. Now you pull that choke all the way out and you crank it for between 15 to 20 seconds like this. 3,000. So then you put your choke in, and you crank it and you pump the gas for a minute. Now, before you turn on any heating implements or any electronic devices, you have to warm up the engine for a bit too. And it also helps if you leave it choked so it doesn't stall on you later. So for now, you just let it run, you let it warm up, and you hang out. Maybe get some coffee, maybe go piss on someone. Whatever you normally do in your downtime in this game. God forbid. I was going to do a sobriety thing, where I show you guys how to get sober as well, but that's another story. The best way to do it is, instead of letting yourself get thirsty and then chugging a bunch of beer, you drink one beer, and then you get the rest of your water from here. And eventually you'll sober up and you'll stop being dependent on the stuff. It doesn't really change from problem to thirst all that much, that might be a bug. I guess I'll do the pissing tutorial, so assuming you're a normal human being, you just pee in the toilet. And you hold down pee, and that's pretty much how it works. So yeah, the year is 1999. You know, I've still got the same posters I always have, pretty much. So, I don't actually know much about this car. I'll break the bad news now. I just had this put together as like a custom save game by some guy on the Nexus, and then I changed my name properly to my proper name over on the news box, over on the letterbox there. But it's a lot closer in spec to what I would like to drive. So it's a 1.6 liter overhead cam engine with the carburetor in it and everything. I know a little bit about how it works because of that, but not a lot. It's also rear-wheel drive, which means that there should be a drivetrain somewhere under there with a card that goes all the way back to your drive wheels. I haven't actually had the chance to lift the thing and look under it all that much, but we're going to be doing that today. That's a good sound to hear, by the way. An empty mailbox in this game is good news. You know, no news is good news in this part of the country, in this part of Finland right now. I don't know jack shit about any of these cars here. This one's some kind of British car, and that one I think is British, like a Ford. At least with the Satsuma I had some idea of what I was kind of looking at, because it was easier to find specs, but this one is kind of, feels kind of like, well, these are both European exclusive cars, pretty much. You can kind of see a hint of the engine, but it's a really low poly model and you can barely see what's going on. Both of these are basically British though, and I can tell that the developer, bless his heart, purposely took the British one and turned it into a left-hand drive because he left the gas tank on the right-handed side, which means that normally you'd get in right here to drive. Also, the your glove box is basically a compartment underneath the glove box. I haven't tried putting a radio in it, but I imagine it would go there somewhere. Maybe someone stole the radio. My winter car could have some really interesting lore. Okay, I think it's warmed up enough. I can stop yammering as much as I am. See if we can fire up the heater without overwhelming the battery. Theoretically, this should operate for a minute without draining the battery. Let's just keep an eye on that. The battery voltage is up, that's good. You know, I bet the reason the engine might not be quite as warm as it should be is because I'm an idiot and I left the hood open. Okay, so that should keep it shut. Now, one of the many ways you can, of course, spend your time waiting for the car to warm up is scraping your windows. And attempting to make it as realistic as possible and doing a sort of original Elder Scrolls style design where you have to actually move your mouse and camera to do things. They also made it really easy to cheese this part a little bit. I'm fairly certain that what I'm looking at under the hood is a Ford Lima engine, but I haven't actually gotten to see a lot of those. Regardless, this is a very sexy car. It's got that Malaise era style to it that everyone loves. Let's, what's our temperature looking like? Looking good. Oil's good. Seems that everything's in order. Put in your choke before you drive. And of course, because there was only so much sunlight, and you're good to go. It's a bit of a drama queen, but it gets around. Then you just don't wreck your car. You work so hard to just get it started. Yeah, nobody's really seen a lot of my Minecraft stuff, but the car brand that I made on Minecraft, essentially your battery was just as finicky as this car's. However, the Empire was, especially during the winter, was really not friendly for old cars like this one. So I have a little practice with shitty electronic systems. Looks like the bus driver's drunk again. Or maybe he thinks he's playing that off-road sim. Okay, rolling stop violation. I'm going to get in trouble for that later. Now, I don't know which model this is, but I don't really mind either way as long as it runs. I assume based on the controls that the brights on this would actually be foot operated. Hard to say. Last video, or rather episode 1, had in trouble for having music because I turned the radio on, and I have a lot of viewers who are just not from the country. That's a good place to be doing that, so I'm leaving the radio off for a little trip. Wow, they still do this even in the middle of the winter.
Jaa, tämän näköinen särki tällä kertaa. Kai sinä tiedät, että kun poliisi sitä tarjoaa pilliä suun, niin siihen pitää puhaltaa, eikä imeä.
How you doing?
Hei, tehdäänpä tällä kertaa niin, että arvot sieltä ratinalta sen kaasupolkimen ja poistut paikalta, niin ei tarvitse kirjoittaa sakkoa tienvarren roskaamisesta.
You got it, officer. He expected me to be drunk because I have a town mysterious alcoholic. So yeah, they're still doing police checkpoints even in the dead of winter, like the coldest winter in history. I'd tell my boss to go suck one if he had me standing out in the cold like that. Those guys... Honestly, I have a lot of respect for the police in this game now, having seen that they'll go out here in negative 50 degrees Celsius weather and just hang out. Of course, if what they were doing were, you know, absolutely backwards and tyrannical, I would probably bring them coffee, but considering that I am an American and therefore entitled, or at least feel like I should be entitled to the right to, you know, undo search and seizure bullshit with that kind of thing, you know. That's just my opinion. But I guess ultimately they're just trying to keep the drunks off the road, and Lord knows in this part of the country there's probably a lot of those who don't actually stop for the DUI checkpoint, which kind of defeats the purpose of it, or whatever. If the dev sees this, which I know you aren't going to see this because you probably don't watch a lot of YouTube or anything, I just want you to know that your games are the shit and they're really fun, and even though they're really hard, that's just part of the entertainment value, is how much of a pain in the ass it is because of the realism. We'll leave it running for now for this. I'll probably regret it, but we'll leave it running. Okay, so what bolt size are the tires? So the guy who built this car was in some sort of rush. I can imagine why. But wow, they didn't keep it a secret at all what they did with that. Okay, so the guy who was building this was in a rush, so he actually screwed a few things up with building it, but that was fairly easy to fix compared to a lot of saves where they kind of, you know, dropped the ball a little bit, maybe. Otherwise, it seems to have been in good shape, all in working order. So I'm willing to bet you that it is still a 10mm bolt, assuming that I'm remembering anything correctly. Nope. Maybe it was 12 on the original car, but I could swear it was like 10mm for the... Let's try 12. Get a look at the bolt. Wait, are these wheels even bolted on? Have I been driving on bolted wheels? Ah. The master mechanic art of undoing wheel bolts with a frickin' crescent design. I don't think anybody's ever done that, but what would I know? Now I'm sure you're asking, why custom rims on this car? Well, the answer may surprise you. Because this is in fact a Ford. Means that it's built to a slightly different standard than most of the cars that I usually monkey with. And also, because I need a spare tire, and I don't know how to get that yet, but I do know I can order more of these. The phone mechanics absolutely kick my ass. Easy there, pal. Eventually one of the videos I'm going to have to do is a trip to Flatari's to clean up his floor and clean up what this last guy left all over the floor. Because a trip to the dump could be educational for you. Let's see if I got the sizes right on this at least. Oh, these are much smaller. That's gonna ruin the handling profile. Might help fuel economy though. Biggie Small. Honestly, it'll reduce the weight of the car and also probably help with some other factors as well, so it might actually be a good design. I guess I'll know if I fucked up when the car catches fire and spins out. Anyway, when you're not driving the car and you're going to have it parked, you just take the battery out and bring it inside with you. That seems to have done it. Now, as for wear and tear on the car itself, I haven't actually worked out how many miles it takes before you have to change your oil yet, but in this weather, I imagine that the oil definitely undergoes a lot more stress. And I've heard stories from the Second World War of German vehicles and the trouble that they had on their way through Russia, so... We're going to get really good traction while we're carrying these back with us. Or the game will bug out and fling the car into orbit. Either way, I'm here for it. So I'm going to need to bring pretty much as much space as I can get.
No terve, terve! Mikä oli pojalla mielessä? Ei oo kyllä kulta, mikä täällä kiiltää. Kyllä se on ehkä optimismi ja haaveet, mitkä sulla niinku kiiltää, että toi auto ei ainakaan.
This guy really hates four-bangers. But then again, who can blame him? Now this looks like a lowrider. Believe it or not, I actually have the key to his car for some reason. Ooh, you know what? I could probably borrow his car for a minute and use that to move all the shit out of his garage as get him some gas too. So yeah, I have the key to his car for some reason. Battery's draining a little fast. Okay, checky left, checky right. So now we just cruising. And they're gonna have me stop again on the way back. Checkpoint is up ahead. Yep.
Kato, oli sillä ratin takana joku taapero. Me katsottiin, että joku Ritari S:n auto sieltä tulee, kun ei edes päälakea näkynyt ratin takaa. Ja pitkä puhallus.
Can I pee in it?
Että sellainen lukema tällä kertaa. Kyllä tässä jotain epäilyttävää on selkeästi tekeillä. En vaan tiedä vielä mitä. Minä pidän sinua silmällä, nulikka. Ala laputtaa.
Right. Alright, officer. Well, aside from me having trouble finding the first gear, chalk it up to me being dead, man. I am perfectly sober. I get the feeling this thing would be really fun to crank up to speed, but also probably a bitch to slow down without getting a radar infraction. Definitely a good thing that the headlight issue is fixed with this car, because the Satsuma, when I blinked the brights on and off at night while I was driving, it would actually short the lights eventually. It had some electrical issues, I guess, that couldn't really be remedied. Or maybe it was a bug, who knows. But whoever owns it really likes his car, because he put some really fancy shit on that thing. Okay, so we pull in. that's out. Lower off. Now that's a new sound that I don't recognize, but we'll learn about that later, probably. So now we're here, and we have this stuff. And we'll pick up our spare later. Should have gotten 14-inch wheels, huh? It's probably gonna look really weird. Anyway. So now that we're here, and we're gonna have this thing parked for a bit, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the battery out. Now, if you had a battery charger at the house, that'd be really useful, but probably don't. It is an 8mm. Lift that. Now first you untake that one. Then you undo that one. Lay in. Get it out. That's done. Close that. Coffee is an option. That. Did I grab groceries before or after? I didn't pick up any bottles for the Killju. Well, I can wait until we pick up our package anyway. And yeah, it's one of a million ways you can drive this thing if you're feeling ballsy. Now you just stack these neatly if you're feeling particularly ADHD about it. Or not ADHD, if you're feeling particularly obsessive, compulsive. And you leave the car battery by the phone in the hopes that the doesn't catch fire. That's how you don't suck at my winter car. For the most part. Although I kinda suck at it anyway, so yeah. See you in the next video.